Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Zuhairah from Universiti Kuala Lumpur. The title of my presentation today will be on the short review of the rheological study of experimental and modeling work for the fiber reinforced composite and the factor affects the rheological behavior during the impregnation process. This review is intended to summarize and capture the recent 5 years trend of the research paper, which include experimental, theoretical, as well as modeling work related to the rheological behavior study. It is also intended to highlight a few research studies conducted in literature on the main factor affecting the rheological properties, which influence the performance of the composite itself, and also answering on why is it important to study the scenario. Mainly, it is also to provide a baseline and information regarding rheological behavior to ensure the production of the good and better quality of the composite product can be produced in the author's future work. Well, rheological behavior basically is an important factor affecting the flow behavior of a fluids and many aspects related to this, mainly in the manufacturing process of the composite itself. The rheological is defined as a study of flow behavior of liquids and deformation solid. There are few rheological properties need to be further investigated, such as stress, viscosity, viscoelastic modulus, creep compliance, relaxation time, and others as well. The material behavior tend to change when exposed to different processing conditions, whether it is a non-Newtonian or non-Newtonian fluids. In this study, basically the main aim is to review, identify and select the most reliable method for determination of the rheological and viscoelasticity properties during the impregnation process itself using thermoset-based resin with natural woven fabrics. A summary of various research papers on the rheological studies via modeling and theoretical prediction works is tabulated in Table 1. As we can see, the models can be divided into few types, which are temperature dependent, secondly time dependent, thirdly time and temperature dependent, and the rest will be considering on others dependent such as frequency, shear loads dependent, and also kinetic model. These models are often constructed to compare with the experimental data conducted in order to obtain the prediction of the rheological behavior itself. A summary of various research papers on rheological study via experimental works using various methods, mainly using rheometer and viscometer, is tabulated in Figure 1 and Table 2. The type of geometry used in the viscometer instrument also been summarized academically, as you can see here. The use of the parallel plate is widely applied for the measurement using viscometer, mainly for the work with the thermoset resin, especially when applied during curing condition. The parallel plate showed the most suitable geometry compared to the concentric cylinder and cone and plate type of the viscometer. A few research studies conducted investigation with regard to the various manufacturing process also involving impregnation stage is summarized and tabulated in Figure 2. As you can see here, there are few main fabrication method involving with the rheological study in order to determine the behavior of the resin being used in their fabrication itself. Figure 3 and Table 3 shows a summary of few research papers conducted in their study with regard to the behavior using various types of the thermoset-based resin. It can be seen that the most common and popular choice of resin is focused on the use of the epoxy-based resin due to the several advantages offered by the resin. In several industries, epoxy resin systems are commonly introduced from adhesive coating to high-performance matrix system fiber strengthened composite. Like the other thermoset resin, epoxy final property depend on its cure process and the final cure state. A tabulated research paper in Figure 4 show the rheological studies using various criterion to determine gel point and viscoelastic properties. In the rheological study of the thermoset-based resin, the gel point is important in determining the time and temperature at which pressure should be applied. Gel point is a temperature or time where the first group of covalent bond binds within the sample and become infinitely large in molecular weight. The gel point itself of a thermoset occurs during current process near the glass transition temperature process. The common criteria to identify the gel point is the crossover of the storage modulus and the loss modulus. With regard to the determination of the viscoelastic properties and their effects on the resin properties, the storage modulus and loss modulus are the main parameters that describe the rheological behavior of a thermoset. As for the conclusion, firstly, the recent 5-year trend of the research paper have been summarized, in which includes experimental, theoretical, and modeling works related to the rheological behavior that affects the material in the processing. Secondly, a few research studies conducted in the literature has been highlighted, and the selection of the most suitable rheological model and experimental instrument has been shortlisted in order to further for the experimental work. The rheological study of the thermoset-based resin using various criterion in determination of the gel point and viscoelastic properties have been reviewed. This review basically providing some insight and baseline regarding the rheological behavior and properties to ensure a better composite product quality can be produced in the author's future work. That's the end of my presentation today. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.